mute blinking?
Okay, can you hear us now, maybe? Can you hear us, guys? Would that be the...
I think mine blinks.
What is
Mine's just like yours. It blinks when it's on. So I think
Okay,
we're muted now.
All right, let's try that. See.
Audio. Check, check, 1, 2. Can you guys hear us out there?
10 seconds.
Checking our audio right now.
Not blinking.
Not blinking. Not blinking is the way to go.
All right, now.
Sweet.
All right, let's start this over. Hey, everyone who's out there watching, thanks for joining us on Facebook Live. Mike Idle here, hanging out with Ike Zaring, the driver of the bucket list four-wheel drive pickup truck. We're in booth 3194 at the National Farm Machinery Show. Ike, tell us about the crowd we've seen so far today, man.
Pretty great crowd for a Wednesday. I mean, this is the start of it, middle of the week, everything like that. Probably one of the biggest crowds I've seen for a while. So I think it's just going to keep growing. And probably by Friday or Saturday, it's going to be like shoulder to shoulder here, everything.
Tickets for the pool. I know that we were getting tickets for the Friday show and the Saturday show. If you weren't getting them early, getting them often, come out to the pool if at all you can. The crowd is going to be incredible. You know, I kind of felt this season as we were watching truck and tractor pulling, this felt like the first real year since COVID where everyone was back on their feet. The crowds were big, the iron was out, the parts were available. Are we getting back to where we were pre-2020?
Oh, I think we are. I mean, parts availability, all that is great. Yeah, I think we're kind of as far as recovering on all that, like as far as crowds and everything. But I can recall though, like during those few pulls during the COVID era, I mean, it was swarms. We went to Ohio where they were gatherings.
Yeah.
And I mean, it would be overloaded. And then the governor, like the next week, shut it all down.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep, I remember that.
It's a great thing.
There were two pulls. There were two pulls that happened that year that really benefited from that. Mountain City had a big pull in 2020. Rock Valley, Iowa had a big pull in 2020. But it's 2024, and we're pulling at the farm show. Hey, Ike, what does it mean to you to be hanging out in Louisville, to be parked in Broadbent, and to be hooking to the Bauer sled tonight?
I mean, it means a lot to me. I've been coming to this show since I was about 10 years old.
Sure.
Very first time came out here and watched Cody Lewis win it and everything like that.
Definitely.
And just always been kind of hooked on it. Dad's been here since 06 pulling and everything like that. And after getting like 6 denial letters in a row,
Sure.
accepted.
Is this your debut? Is this your first time hooking at Louisville?
Yeah, this is my very first time being here and everything. So,
well, I got to tell you, man, for someone who's been chasing it for 6 years, someone who's pulling for the first time, you are calm as a cucumber. Yeah, I'm not sensing. Are you nervous at all? You feel like you are just ready to rock and roll, bud.
For the most part, I guess it's just maybe the realization hasn't hit me yet.
Sure.
But yeah, I've just kind of come in here calm. I picked my setup up 3 weeks ago. I was just like, this is the tire pressure we're running. This is the gearing we're going to run. This is the weight setup. And it's like, you haven't even looked at the track. I was like, I'm just calling my shot now.
So let's talk about that a little bit. What adjustments have you made since the outdoor season? What's that setup kind of look like? What do you feel is going to make you successful tonight?
So for the most part, we've kind of left a little bit of it alone since the Enderley win, just because that setup was just dialed in right then and there. The only difference is we're weighing 150 pounds more. So I've kind of had to change a little bit of the shock pressures to get the same lift that I want with that additional weight to the truck.
Yeah, absolutely. And are you putting that, everything's going on the front and then we're going to tighten things up in the rear? How do you kind of distribute that to make up for that new weight?
So a lot of it is I'm going to tighten the springs up more to get the same amount of lift because I'm going to have to lift that 150 more pounds. This is kind of like the equals of rules is because PPL's on that 6350. So those guys will kind of have more of an advantage over us because they've been running that way. But I feel like it's going to even out because we're going to run the Barrow Red sled tonight,
Mm-hmm.
which, from my understanding, I don't think PPL's hooked to that sled at all because it was a new sled last year.
That was a new sled for NTPA, and I'll give you my fans' perspective on it. That thing will stop you. That looks like a heavy hitting machine.
So I like it because we can get the ground speed with it,
Mm-hmm.
but then it will stop you at the end.
Definitely.
So it's a great thing where it's not a low drag, slow pull. It's like, hey, let's get up, go run with this, and then when it's coming at the end, it's gonna stop.
Two things that'll definitely, you hit the nose on the head there. You're going to want to get up and run in this indoor pull, but that box is going to be chasing you quickly. Let's holler at our comments really quick, guys. Coming to you from booth 3194 at the farm show, hanging out with Ike Zaring, talking four-wheel drive truck pulling for the Louisville indoor pull tonight. If anyone has any comments, if anybody has any comments or questions for Ike, let us know. You talked a little bit about the PPL guys. This is a fun time of year because you're representing NTPA. You finished third in points with NTPA this year. You've got some PPL trucks out there. You've got some hard-hitting outlaw trucks out there. You guys are limited to 650 cubic inches. They've got the mountain motors. Does that make a difference, in your opinion, especially on an indoor track?
Here, I don't believe it makes as much of a difference because we're running such a short track.
Sure.
We have a higher RPM band versus the big motors like that. So I feel like we can get the power to the ground easier for this versus them. But as far as an outdoor track, they kind of have the advantage if we're running those like 350, 330 plus tracks. If you dial it back to about 320, we're about even on par. But man, once you get that extra 30 feet or whatever, I mean, those motors carry it. I mean, we can still compete, but that's just the differences in the advantages.
Sure. And I also kind of feel like I've talked to a lot of drivers leading up to this. The driving pattern. Now, I don't want to influence you. You're going to drive that thing exactly how your setup says, but it feels like you want to drive it aggressively. You've got about 60 feet to determine, am I hooked to the track or am I not? And you've got to get in and get after it. Does a smaller cubic inch motor let you drive it more aggressively?
I do believe it does because it's not going to bust the tires loose as quick. The big thing that you have to factor in that's different is you still have to worry about that smoke tube on front.
Okay.
So the nose of that sled's going to be heavier than it normally is.
True.
So you have got to get that thing carrying. And, if you got too high of a gear, it's just never going to pull the motor up and everything like that. So, yeah, assuming with a 650, about 60 feet is the max you can drive that thing out, and you've got to have it hooked up. But now if you just bust it loose and everything, you're just going to spin the tires and go nowhere.
And a bummer for those of you who don't watch Louisville before, no getting out of the throttle and rehooking, if I'm right. Is that correct? You don't get the 100-foot rule. I think you take it and go here.
I believe you get 2 attempts at it.
You get 2 attempts here? Okay.
I'm going to try not to.
Yeah, you're going to. Well, we're just going to call it now, Ike. I've seen you drive. This truck's an awesome truck. You're going to hook to the ground. You're going to bite. And do you have your water bottle? Because you're going to be putting some sand in your water bottle and taking it home with you. You're going home. You're going to the beach today.
So my plan is I'd like to hit the concrete barrier.
If we can have a pause in the show where they have to rebuild the barrier, you heard it here first. Ike's driving through that thing.
I told him, I said, I'm going to hit that pile and I'm just going to throw all that sand on the track. You guys can't get through it after that.
That is the best attitude. That's the best strategy I've heard. This truck's called the Bucket List. Talk to us how it got that name and tell us how many items we've checked off that bucket list.
So we started building the truck in 2016. It was just bare chassis. We were building it, everything we've fabricated, and we kept going along, and this thing didn't have a name, anything like that. And then Dad come up with the idea. He's like, well, how about the bucket list? It's going to be all the events and marquees that we want to be able to check off and everything, and be kind of a cool interaction with it. So on the weight box, we have all the pulls that we would like to accomplish and everything. And we got most of it checked off. We got 3 wins at Toma, got that one checked. We got the Chapel Hill this year.
Definitely. The Lion Super Pull of the South in Chapel Hill, Tennessee.
Got the Enderley checked off.
That's got to be a big one. What did it mean to win the All-Star event at Enderley this year?
in my opinion, sometimes there's horses for courses, and that baby blue truck loves that track because it showed up 4 times and won at 3.
That's horses for courses in Louisville, Kentucky. Hey, we love horses in Louisville, but they're not running at Churchill Downs tonight. They're running in Freedom Hall. Do you have a spot marked on there for the farm show?
Well, I'm going to walk out on that track, and when most guys are poking it, I'm just going to be scoping out my spot in the sand pile.
You're running an A to B pass. You've got that honed in out there. That's absolutely excellent. What are some of your biggest moments from the 2023 season?
So I think big moments on 23 was definitely getting the Chapel Hill victory. That has eluded Dad now like 3 times. He's like gotten second, always runner up on it. And in 22, I completely knocked myself out both nights. So it was just gripping that hard and bounced it so bad. My head bounced off the top, hit everything. I remember I was completely concussed because I got like 60 feet and I hit my head. And I look over and Isaac Kilburn reaches in the truck and shuts off. And I just thought, dang, you got here quick.
Yeah, and there was probably 30 seconds or a minute in between when he got there and when that happened.
So they're looking at me. They're like, you okay? I was like, yeah. Let's
say,
hook it back.
Ike, how many fingers did you see, bud? I don't know, 17 or something like that, right?
So getting completely knocked out, everything, it was like bad. So then it's like next year I was like, come back here for redemption. And it was guys took the left side of the track and they took them the lead. And they're like, what are you going to do? I'm on the right side. That ain't winning. I said, well, I'm not going to win if I follow the leaders.
Sure.
And so I called my shot, went on the right side, took the lead, everything like that. And it was kind of funny. I don't know if they thought it was like a fluke because like everybody just started jumping back over the left and they were just going backwards.
Yeah, that's interesting. Usually if you make one of those hero to zero moves and you come out of hero, the crowd tends to follow. But, you know, you guys like to build the road. Maybe they thought the road was on the other side, but it held up and you won and you checked one on the bucket list there. Other highlights from 2023.
So the other one that I got to say was pretty cool was Enderley.
Sure.
So that one called the shot again on that. So in there, you pick your order of how you pull it.
Okay.
Typically, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I was third hook. Dad was second. And we were talking about strategy. Like, we're going to be back to back. What are we going to do? And I said, I'm going to do the opposite of whatever you do. And one of the guys said, they go, well, what if he takes the lead? I said, I don't care. I'm going to do the opposite. So Dad takes the lead from Mark Manga. But what was funny,
hard running truck this year of someone who was not easy to beat this year.
Mark was consistent to no end.
Yep.
So Dad passes Mark. But what everybody didn't understand was as soon as the sled took off, I told Isaac, put that thing in the far right. And everybody's looking at me like, what are you doing? You just took the lead. I was like, I'm going to take the lead. And I take the lead. And they're like, there's no way you did that. I was like, what? I was like, we only had the lead. Like, you know, I'm only here for a win, not second. So.
Yep. So the right side was definitely your friend this year, sounds like. Guys, looks like we lost a little bit of video. But if you can still hear us, we'll keep talking. We'll see if we can get this resolved pretty quickly. We just lost video. We've still got audio. We lost video. It says our browser has lost connection to our camera, but I think they can still hear us. A couple of comments out there. There we go. Kyle Weitzel says, I didn't touch anything. I've been sitting on my hands. I've been being good. Yep. They're bringing them up. So Kyle says, let's go, Ike. You know this Kyle guy, or is he just a big fan?
Oh, yeah. I like Dewey. They're the Cornstalk Express truck, run Hoosier State. We just recently sold them a chassis for his brother to go jump in the class and everything. So, you know, they're a great running group of guys and everything. And probably some of the nicest boys around.
Here, we got another one coming up. I think we've got another interviewer lined up next on our list, so we'll bring this up really quick. What can we say about this guy right here? He's got a strong opinion. Old Mick says he's gonna lay it on you. So,
well,
what do you have to say to Mick?
The great thing is, Mickey, you can have runner-up position. It's fine like that.
That's great. That's absolutely great. Guys, we're hanging out with Ike Zaring, booth 3194, in front of the beautiful new version of the Beer Money Pulling Team Remedy. If you have any questions for Ike, we're getting some Happy Valentine's Day comments on here. I don't know if you're off the market, but you might have to watch. You've got some ladies wishing you Happy Valentine's Day out here. Some of the comments out there.
Yeah. Definitely off the market. It'll be expensive if decide to go on another date with someone.
Yeah, no kidding. So that the pulling truck, that keeps up enough of your time and your money as it is. I am absolutely sure. Hey, Ike, before we kind of close this out, thank you so much for hanging out with us. You've been great to talk to. Anybody back home you want to holler at? Anybody you want to thank? Any shout outs you want to give?
Got to thank the wife and kids first and foremost, right? She's always the one picking up the weight at home, so I can go do everything. I got to thank Isaac Hilburn and the KMD crew. They're kind of at home this weekend, busy farming. We're going to run some anhydrous this week since it's kind of soft from the ground up. So we've done that. Just got to thank, race wraps with Mick Broughton. We've had a good partnership, everything like that. Got to thank all the guys at the millwright business. They're the ones making the money, so we can keep doing this and everything. So, it's been pretty good. Thank you on that stuff.
Yep, absolutely. It takes a whole family. It takes supporters. It takes everyone out there to go pulling, and we're thankful for all that. Any final questions you guys have for Ike Zaring, go ahead and put them up there in the comments. We've got a good crowd watching for a Wednesday morning. Got 30, 40, 50 people hanging out in here with us. Thank you guys so much for watching. We're going to be coming to you any chance that we can throughout the week. We've got drivers lined up. We got Danny Lambert commenting all the way from Royal, Virginia. Virginia's got some good running trucks. It's a hotbed for trucks out there. They've had several of them back in the day. Well, Ike, here's my closing thing with you, buddy. You've picked your line. You've picked your setup. You know how you're going to run. Are you going to bring us home some sand tonight?
Oh, I'm planning.
That's
kick ass or don't come home.
That is absolutely wonderful. Hey, guys, this has been a great way to kick off the farm show. Huge thank you to the Zaring pulling team. This has been Ike Zaring with the bucket list. If your dad wants to come by and talk Rule 19 with us, that'd be awesome. And, guys, thank you so much for watching. Best of luck out there, buddy.
All right. Yeah. Thank you.
Take care, guys. All right.